So the question is, do I then need to? Okay, that's interesting. That's not changed. Oh, it has. Hello and welcome to today's talk, which is going to be all about making room for Hygge. And I'm very excited, but also slightly nervous because I'm trying something new in the way that I'm doing this video, which will hopefully be a tiny bit more reliable. But we will see. Okay, so I hope you're well and that you are feeling the excitement of spring that's in the air, regardless of where you live in the world. Obviously, if you live down under, it's going to be not the spring season for you, but nevertheless. So today I wanted to talk about a very important thing when it comes to Hygge, which is the fact that we need to make room for it, really, both on a conscious and emotional level, on a mental level, and of course also on a physical level. So, I am going to talk a tiny bit about one of my favorite things, which is space clearing and decluttering. And the spring is just the perfect time to do this. And you might already have started doing it. Our ancestors would always do this, like clearing the house out as soon as the weather was good enough. In many traditions, the furniture would literally be moved outside, the whole house would be cleaned, everything outside would be cleaned, and then you'd put it back in again and kind of remake your home, if you like, for the new season ahead. And it's a really powerful thing to do. It allows us to kind of look at all our possessions, and it allows us to look at our space that sometimes goes stale. Even with the best intentions, if we don't put attention and effort into our space, then it's likely to start lagging a tiny bit of energy in places. And I'm not even just talking about cleaning, I'm just talking the bigger picture as well. And if you're watching this live, you can put in hashtag live. I would be really curious to hear as well if you have already a spring tradition where you are maybe doing this. If you're watching this on replay, you can put in replay, but you can still put your comment in and I will do my best to read and reply. So what's the best way? Because let's be honest, there's only 24 hours in the day and we've got the day job, and you might have had the experience already of starting having a clear out and then you get about halfway and you realize that you left the house in a bigger mess than when you first started. I definitely have. I'll put my hand up for that. And it's fair enough. So there's many different ways of approaching this. But you need to make space for it, also time wise. So you have to choose which method kind of works best for you. So if you put a Google search in, you're going to get overwhelmed because there's so many suggestions out there. So I'm just going to give you a couple of top tips from my own experience that I've used for myself as well as with clients as well. And if you want to dive any deeper, please go ahead and do your own research as well. But methods that I find really useful is if you have got a very busy family life, maybe you got small people or other relatives in the house and you've only got a certain amount of time, then a nice way of going about it is to kind of say you're going to select one or two things a day or in a certain time frame that you're going to give away, or if it's not suitable for being given away and it's broken or chipped or something like that, it would either need to be repaired, or C, go to the eternal trash fields or whatever. If there's no life in it, then let's face it, we can't hang on to it, because then we start living in a landfill site, and that is not the energy we want for our home. So that's quite a useful method for many people. If you have more like, you can set aside a larger chunk of your time, then it might be more useful for you to kind of do it either room by room or item by item. But regardless of which method you use, I find it really useful to have a couple of bags handy, bags or boxes, however you want to go about it. I quite like bags because they are more flexible and they can be hung up in places and taken off the floor temporarily. And then you can have a bag for things that you are going to give away, things that is going to be thrown away, and things that you might not be quite sure about. So often what happens when we start having a clear out is that we start looking at things and we get emotionally attached to the thing. And that's when it can become really difficult to clear things. So there's different ways of navigating this as well. So there's different tools and methods. And one thing that might be really useful for you is that if you've got a good friend that can help you. The friend doesn't even need to be there. You can like have a call with them on WhatsApp or whatever, and just show them. Let's see, it's a dress or it's that mug, and you kind of go like, oh, I'm not quite sure. Some people even set up businesses for this. I'm very blessed that I've got a very good friend who helped me with some of my stuff. And I, for example, had a dress that I was really loving it, but every time I put it on, I was like, there's something wrong with this dress. It would end up back in the cupboard. And my friend pointed out that it was an angry looking dress because of the way that the buttons and the stitchings were made. It actually looked like it was frowning. And I was like, oh, I did not see that. And the minute she said that, I was ready to let this dress go. So sometimes you need someone to kind of help you over that first hurdle. Another method that I personally use when I haven't got any friends nearby is what I call the energy up or energy down method. And it's very simple. It requires you, however, to just kind of check in with yourself and your own energy levels as to whether you feel that the item makes you happy, so it brings the energy up, or it doesn't actually bring your energy up. Maybe it's just neutral. I mean, to be quite honest, let's see something like, for example, a stapler. Okay, if you only have the one stapler but you need to use it on a regular basis, it's probably not going to make your energy go up. But if it's still useful and you use it on a regular basis, you'll still need to keep it. But if it's something that literally brings your energy down, then it's definitely a going out item. Now, you might also find that, you look at them and you go like, oh, but it reminds me of so and so, and oh, I forgot I had this. Okay. So a lot of people go, I forgot I had this. And the minute we look at the item, we kind of re-engage with all the memories, and that can also make it really hard. So the fact is, if you haven't used it, and even if you forgot that you had it, the chances are that you're probably not going to need it, and that you probably don't need to take it with you further. And a useful way of navigating this can be to take a picture of it. And every time you look at the picture, it will bring you that same memory. And if you, and I'll put my hands up for this, I find it sometimes really hard to let things go because I have loved them, but maybe I just don't really love them anymore, but I have loved them. So sometimes just thanking the item for all the joy that they brought and then letting them go, realizing that hopefully they will bring joy to someone else. So I've made some notes here because there's more. So another one I wrote here, get real, okay? Because sometimes we kid ourselves a tiny bit and go like, oh, I really love this mug, and you've already got 25 mugs. And no one really needs 25 mugs unless you host big parties or have like a very big living room with lots of people all the time. So, it's the same with vases. Let's be honest, like we can all love our different vases, but you probably don't need more than four, depending on the type of flowers that you're supposed that you have. Like a small one, a tall one, a wide one, and a narrow one, and that should basically be it. But we can still have the attachment and wanting something else. At the end of the day, what it should really come back to is, what have you got space for? Because if there is not a space for this thing, then there is no place for it either. So that can be quite a useful way. So now we've cleared things out. Hopefully, it's made it a bit easier, but you need to allow yourself as well some time to do that. It's not all magically going to happen in one day. Depending on what method you use, you might have to set aside more time. And if you use one of my favorite methods where you take everything out and you place it on the floor or the bed in front of you so you can actually see it, then make sure that whatever time you set aside, you have half the time to get it out and sort, and the other half of the time to clear the space and put things back again. Otherwise, you're probably just going to end up with more mess and a big stress, and you don't actually finish things off. Finally, if you think, oh, I really don't know what to do with this, I'm really not sure, then I like the box rule. And the box rule is all those things that you are not sure about, you box them up, you seal it off, and you put it somewhere, and you write a date on it, which can be 3 or 6 months ahead in time. And if by then you've forgotten what's in the box or you haven't needed what's in the box, then the box goes, but without you reopening it. Because if you reopen it, you are likely to go back into, oh, I've forgotten I had that, and oh, I really love this thing. So you're kind of putting yourself through the whole agonizing process once more. And why do we need to let go of these things? Well, our homes are our sanctuary, and it should be a lovely place to be. I'm not saying that your home needs to be 100% tidy all the time, but let's be honest, a home should feel like a sanctuary, and it should feel welcoming. And if we have too much stuff everywhere, it creates internal stress for ourselves, and also it makes everything a tiny bit harder because you have to constantly move things or you can't find things, and it's causing frustration. But one of my big things, especially this year, right now and here, is to clear out and make space in order to invite new things in. So you don't need to be an astrologer or anything else in order to notice that, there's like a change of season, if you like, a change in era, really, as to how everything feels at the moment, both for the good and for the bad. But it's a sense that, it's we're kind of making room for bigger things to come. And I think the key thing is going to be really to clear ourselves from the burden of stuff and allow ourselves to look forward to inviting new things in as well. Because when there is space, then we can also allow new and beautiful things to find us. We'll have a place to put it. We'll have a container to receive it in. And that in its own right is a beautiful thing. So I hope some of these tips were useful to you. I'm just going to look. Yes, I think that is everything. That's everything I've got on my list. But let me go. Have you been clearing out already? And has that changed how you feel? And even if your clearing pile is not overly big, taking that ancient old tradition from our ancestors that at springtime you would clear everything out and you would bring it back in, it really just completely invigorates your space. It can feel like it's cleansing not only on the physical level but also on the mental level. I would say also that obviously we live in a digital age, so clutter is not only physical, it can also be digital clutter. So don't forget to look at that. And finally, don't forget to look at your own schedule as well, because maybe that needs a good clear out as well. So what does that mean? That means like unsubscribe those emails that you never read anyway. Um, Clear those duplicates or those old pictures of the phone that you haven't looked at for a long time either. Maybe get a couple printed, put them on the wall, and then let go of the rest. Managing it and worrying about our stuff is a big thing, and it's a big stress factor, and it's something that we really don't need. Um, and when it comes to time management, well, asking yourself, do I really want to spend time doing this? Maybe it's time to have some more space in your diary. Maybe it's time to actually pinpoint some specific moments for A, clearing your clutter, and B, for creating more happiness and hygge in your home. So don't forget to let me know in the comments if you found this useful and maybe what tip are you going to be using. And I hope that it will inspire you to look at your home with fresh eyes and that it will allow you to clear the decks ahead of the new astrological new year, which is going to hit obviously on the 21st of March when we enter Aries. It's going to be all go, go, go from there on. So it's a good idea to get a clean deck before then. Take care and have a lovely week. Bye bye.